Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nicki Minaj.
Hi. Hello, how are you? So those of you who know, Charlie was very good.
What happens when the Queen of Rap walks into the heart of the conservative movement? It sounds like the setup to a joke, but what unfolded at Turning Point USA's America Fest was anything but funny. It was chilling. Grammy-nominated rapper Nicki Minaj took the stage alongside Erika Kirk, the widow of the late Charlie Kirk, and within seconds, the atmosphere shifted from excitement to pure, unadulterated tension. Social media is currently in a meltdown over a single word, a slip of the tongue, so sharp that Nicki herself physically recoiled. We're talking about the double block, a psychological reaction that experts say reveals a person's deepest regrets in real time.
About having a surprise for every AmFest, and we are so blessed to have you. We are so grateful. I mean,
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
love you guys. So we're just gonna dive right into this. You had some fun words for Governor Newsom.
But that's just the surface. Why was Nicki even there, considering Charlie Kirk's past public takedowns of her lyrics? And why did Erika Kirk's reaction seem to contradict everything she said just weeks prior on CBS? Today, we are breaking down every micro-expression, every nervous grooming gesture, and the hidden history that led to this viral explosion. Was this a moment of cultural healing or a PR disaster caught in 4K? Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the breakdown that Nicki Minaj probably wishes stayed off the internet. To understand why this interview sent shockwaves through the digital world, we have to look past the flashing lights of America Fest and look at the foundation of this meeting. This wasn't just a rapper talking to a widow.
I have to read these tweets because they're amazing and they are so funny. Okay, first one, we'll do this one. Unless you want to read it in your own voice, I think it'd be really great. Okay.
Oh, Gabby Poo, it only gets worse from here for you, buddy. It's the end of the road for you, my love. Get on the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind.
This was a collision of two universes that, until very recently, were at total war with one another. The ghost in the room, Charlie Kirk's legacy. You cannot talk about this interview without talking about Charlie Kirk. For years, Charlie was the face of Turning Point USA, the man who built a brand on traditional values, nuclear families, and a very specific critique of modern pop culture. Charlie wasn't just a casual observer of music. He was a vocal critic of the very industry Nicki Minaj sits atop. If you go back to 2018, there was a glimmer of appreciation. Charlie actually texted Candace Owens, praising Nicki's legendary verse on Monster. He knew her talent, but as the political climate shifted, so did his rhetoric. By 2024, during a campus debate that went viral, Charlie didn't hold back. He specifically grouped Nicki Minaj with Cardi B, labeling them as dangerous role models for young women. He argued that the glorification of explicit lyrics and hypersexualized content was a direct contributor to the breakdown of the family unit. He famously questioned, "What values are they putting forward?" This wasn't a minor disagreement. It was a fundamental rejection of Nicki's brand. And yet, here we are, at the first major event after his passing, and the headline guest is the very woman he used as a cautionary tale. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. This contradiction is the silent elephant in the room that the analysts are finally starting to break down. The super bass entrance. A subtle middle finger? One of the most jarring moments of the entire event happened before a single word was spoken. As the video begins, there is a sharp, almost suspicious edit. One moment, the screen is filled with digital fireworks and Nicki's name, and the next, she is already seated. For those of us who study stage production, this was a massive red flag. When you have a superstar like Nicki Minaj, you don't hide the entrance. You want the walk-on. You want the hero shot. So why cut it? The answer lies in the audio. As Nicki walked out, the speakers blasted Super Bass, one of her biggest hits. Now, think about the lyrics of that song. It's about flashy cars, popping bottles, and real guys who never fly coach. It is the literal embodiment of the flashy, suggestive theme that Charlie Kirk spent his final years campaigning against. The analysts believe this edit was about more than just copyright claims. While trimming licensed music is common on YouTube, cutting the entire greeting, the handshake, the hug, the initial eye contact, changes the emotional temperature of the video. It makes the meeting feel clinical rather than communal. It suggests that the organizers might have been self-conscious about the optics of the Queen of Rap walking out to a club anthem in a room full of people wearing traditional values hats. As soon as the cameras settle on the two women, the psychological game begins. Erika Kirk, who only weeks prior appeared on CBS looking guarded, defensive, and visibly shaken by the loss of her husband and the mounting public pressure, was a different person on this stage. She displayed what experts call high-intensity social grooming. You'll see both women fidgeting with their hair and smoothing their clothes. While many dismiss this as just being a girl, in high-stakes environments, these are comfort gestures. They are trying to settle the nervous energy between them. Erika's smile in this segment is what we call a full Duchenne smile. The eyes crinkle, the mouth is wide. She is projecting a best friend vibe. She is leaning in, nodding excessively, and using mirroring techniques. If Nicki leans back, Erika adjusts. If Nicki uses a certain slang, Erika adopts the energy. She tells Nicki, "We are so blessed to have you." But the analyst breakdown suggests a deeper layer here. Is this genuine admiration, or is this strategic alignment? Erika is navigating a world where she is now the torchbearer for her late husband's movement. By bringing Nicki into the fold, she isn't just hosting a guest. She's attempting a massive cultural pivot. She's trying to prove that the movement is cool, inclusive, and unfiltered. To bridge the gap between a rap icon and a conservative powerhouse, you need a common enemy. That enemy was California Governor Gavin Newsom. Erika encourages Nicki to read her own tweets about the governor, tweets that are scathing, funny, and raw. This was the honeymoon phase of the interview. This is where they found their click. When Nicki refers to the governor as Gabby Poo and tells him to get on a jet ski and let that hair blow in the wind, the crowd erupts. For a moment, the contradiction of their presence disappears. They are united by the freedom to speak. Erika beams, looking at the audience to check the vibe. This is a classic move of a speaker who is unsure of the room's reception. She's looking for permission to keep going. She's saying, "See? She's one of us." But as the segment draws to a close, the tension begins to leak through the cracks. While they laugh about cleaning up the scum and treading lightly, there is a looming question. Why now? If Charlie were alive, would he have allowed Super Bass to play at America Fest? Would he have sat silently while his wife praised a woman he once called a dangerous influence? Or has the movement shifted so far into anti-establishment territory that they are willing to ignore moral disagreements as long as the guest hates the same politicians they do? The analysts point out that Nicki Minaj has gone silent on many issues lately, and this interview was her breaking the silence. But she didn't break it with a song, she broke it with an alliance. And as we move into the next part of this breakdown, we're going to see exactly where that alliance started to crumble under the weight of a single, devastating word choice. Now, if we want to truly understand the energy in that room, we have to look at the psychological masking that was happening on that stage. This is where the analysis gets uncomfortable, because we aren't just looking at what these women said. We are looking at the massive gap between their words and their history. As the conversation shifts away from safe topics like Gavin Newsom, the air in the room begins to change. You can see it in the way Erika Kirk positions herself. She isn't sitting like a traditional interviewer. She is angled almost entirely toward Nicki, creating what body language experts call a closed loop. This is a tactic used to build instant intimacy, but when you contrast this with Erika's CBS interview just weeks prior, the difference is jarring. In that CBS sit-down, Erika was the picture of a woman under siege. Her posture was rigid, her smiles were social smiles, meaning they didn't reach her eyes, and her tone was sharp, almost defensive. She was a woman protecting a legacy. But here, on the America Fest stage, she is transformed into a high-energy hype woman. The question the analysts are asking is, which version of Erika is the real one? When she looks at Nicki and says, "Amen, I feel the same way," regarding the backlash, she is making a massive claim. She's claiming that she, like Nicki, simply doesn't care about the critics. But we know that's not true. We've seen her get visibly upset when talking about the conspiracies and the tension with former friends like Candace Owens. In that CBS interview, when she was asked about the lies being spread online, she didn't shrug it off. She was emotional, she was angry, she told them to stop. So, when she sits across from Nicki Minaj and echoes the sentiment of, "We don't even think about the haters," it feels like a rehearsed performance. It's what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. She wants to project the confidence of a rap queen, but she is still carrying the weight of a widow. This creates a strange, flickering energy on screen. You can see her mirroring Nicki's movements, the head tilts, the hand gestures, as if she's trying to absorb Nicki's legendary thick skin through osmosis. But let's talk about Nicki for a second. Why was she so quiet leading up to this? The queen of rap doesn't usually do conservative conferences. For years, Nicki has been a master of controlled silence, only speaking out when she feels the industry is trying to cage her. By standing on this stage, she wasn't just talking to Erika. She was sending a message to the music industry. Her body language during this segment is fascinating because, unlike Erika, Nicki isn't trying to prove anything. She's leaning back, her movements are fluid, and she's performing what experts call low-stakes engagement. She knows she's the prize in this room. The analysts noticed something very specific during the role model discussion. Erika brings up the idea that they are the cool kids and that everyone else is just disgruntled. This is a classic us versus them narrative. Erika is trying to frame this alliance as the new counterculture. But watch Nicki's eyes during this. There's a brief moment where the grooming gestures stop. She stops fixing her hair. She stops adjusting her clothes. She goes still. In the world of behavioral analysis, stillness is often a sign of high processing. Nicki is calculating. She's realizing that she is being used as a symbol for a movement that, just months ago, her host's husband was criticizing. The tension really peaks when they discuss the backlash within the industry. Erika is practically begging for a moment of shared victimhood. She wants Nicki to say, "Yes, they are trying to cancel me, just like they are trying to cancel you." But Nicki doesn't give her that. Nicki's response is a simple shrug. "I didn't notice." That one phrase is a power move. It completely deflates Erika's attempt to link their struggles. While Erika is fighting for her life in the court of public opinion, Nicki is operating on a level where the haters are invisible. This mismatch in emotional maturity is where the interview starts to feel off. You have Erika, who is clearly deeply affected by the drama surrounding her husband's passing and the fallout with Turning Point Associates, trying to act like she's as unbothered as a woman who has survived 20 years in the rap game. It's an authenticity gap. The audience can feel it. Even the people in the crowd, who want to cheer for both women, can see the cracks. Notice the eyebrow flash Erika gives when she says, "Bingo, we don't even think about them." An eyebrow flash is usually a sign of genuine recognition and friendship, but here, it's exaggerated. It's too fast. It's what we call a performative cue. She's trying to convince herself as much as she's trying to convince the audience. And then, the conversation pivots to freedom of thought. This is the core mission of Turning Point USA, and it's the bridge they use to justify Nicki's presence. Nicki says, "We're not allowed to think for ourselves anymore," and the crowd goes wild. But even in this moment of peak agreement, the analysts spotted a double signal. While Erika is nodding her head, yes, her shoulders are slightly hunched forward, a protective stance. It's as if she's waiting for the other shoe to drop. She knows that giving Nicki Minaj a live microphone is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. This brings us to the most controversial part of the analysis, the inconsistency of values. How does a movement that prides itself on role models and family values reconcile with the lyrics of super bass playing in the background? Erika tries to bridge this by saying, it's about giving younger people confidence. But confidence in what? In the CBS interview, Erika spoke about faith, tradition, and the sanctity of her husband's work. Now, she's nodding along to a woman whose art is built on the very representation Charlie Kirk warned against. This isn't just a breakdown of a video, it's a breakdown of a cultural moment. We are watching a political movement attempt to rebrand in real time by using the star power of a celebrity who doesn't fit their mold. And as the best friend energy continues to build on stage, you can see the foundation starting to shake. The grooming gestures become more frequent. The social smiles become more strained. Both women are working incredibly hard to maintain the illusion of a perfect, seamless alliance. But as we are about to see in the next part of this breakdown, you can only maintain an illusion for so long before the truth slips out. It only takes one word, one tiny micro-expression, and one instinctive hand movement to ruin the entire performance. Because while you can script a guest list and you can script an entrance, you cannot script the human subconscious. And when Nicki Minaj finally decided to think out loud, she said something that no amount of "Amen" or "I love you" from Erika Kirk could take back. Everything we've discussed so far, the history, the super bass irony, the performative smiles, was just the build-up to the moment that actually broke the internet. This is the moment where the vibe didn't just shift, it shattered. We are talking about the assassin comment and the series of involuntary physical reactions that followed, which psychologists call the truth leak. As the interview moves into its final phase, Nicki Minaj is clearly feeling more comfortable. She's leaning into her Barbie persona, playful, rhythmic, and slightly provocative. She begins talking about J.D. Vance, the vice presidential candidate, and she's trying to be complimentary in her own unique way. She's tilting her head, her shoulders are moving to an internal beat, and she calls him the assassin. Now, on the surface, fans of hip-hop culture might argue she was using slang. In some contexts, calling someone a killer or an assassin means they are sharp, effective, or killing the game. But context is everything. Nicki wasn't in a recording studio. She was on a stage hosted by a widow whose husband's death is still the subject of intense, often dark, public scrutiny. The word assassin in this room didn't land like a compliment. It landed like a lead weight. The most fascinating part isn't even the word itself. It's what Nicki's body did the millisecond after she said it. If you slow the footage down, you see a micro-expression of pure, unadulterated regret. Her face scrunches inward. Her nose, eyes, and brow all pull toward the center. This is a universal sign of distress or disgust with one's own actions. She realized in real time that the word choice was a catastrophic mistake given the setting. Then comes the double block. This is a behavioral goldmine. Nicki closes her eyes tightly, an eye block, which is the brain's way of trying to delete the last few seconds of reality. It's a survival mechanism. If I can't see the audience's reaction, it didn't happen. Simultaneously, she brings her hand directly over her mouth. In behavioral psychology, this is the speak no evil gesture. It's an instinctive, childlike movement we do when we've said something we wish we could physically reach out and pull back into our throats. Even people who have been blind since birth perform this gesture, proving it is hardwired into the human nervous system. The silence that followed was deafening, but Erika Kirk's reaction was even more telling. As a host, Erika was in a nightmare scenario. Her guest just used a word associated with death and violence in a room dedicated to her late husband's memory. But instead of clarifying or pausing for a respectful correction, Erika went into overdrive defense mode. She flashed a massive, bright smile, a masking smile, and leaned in to tell Nicki, "I love you," and "You're good." She even echoed an audience member who shouted, "We know what you meant." But did she? The analysts point out that Erika's tone was frantic. She didn't address the word assassin because she didn't want to give it more life. She tried to steamroll over the moment with affection. This is what we call emotional redirection. She was trying to force the audience to feel warmth so they wouldn't focus on the chill that just swept through the room. Erika then launched into a monologue that, logically, made very little sense. She said, "You have to laugh about it. If the internet wants to clip it, who cares?" This is a preemptive strike. She knew right then that this moment was going to go viral for all the wrong reasons, so she tried to frame the future critics as haters before they even had a chance to post. But watch Erika's shoulders. As she defends Nicki, she performs a one-sided shrug. Behavioral experts like Joe Navarro note that a partial shrug usually indicates a lack of conviction. Her mouth was saying, "I'm confident," but her body was saying, "I'm uncertain." She was protecting the guest, but she was struggling to protect the vibe of the event. To cap off this surreal exchange, Erika guided the audience through a visualization exercise. This was the swish pattern, a technique used in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to replace a negative thought with a positive one. She literally told the audience to take any negative energy and swish it away, replacing it with a glowing light of confidence. To the casual observer, it looked like a motivational moment. To the analyst, it looked like an emergency psychological cleanup crew trying to wipe the assassin comment from the collective memory of the room. The interview ended with a standing ovation, but the silence Nicki Minaj had been maintaining was replaced by a different kind of silence. The silence of a crowd trying to process what they just witnessed. We saw a widow trying to be a hype woman and a rap icon trying to be a political philosopher. Both were operating outside of their comfort zones, and the resulting glitches in their behavior provided a rare, unfiltered look at the pressure of public performance. Ultimately, this breakdown isn't about judging Nicki or Erika. It's about the leaked truth. It's about how, no matter how much you script an event or how many amens you shout, the human subconscious will always find a way to show the truth. Nicki's double block told us she knew she was out of place. Erika's masking smile told us she was desperate to keep the peace. And the super bass entrance told us that the values Charlie Kirk fought for are being traded for the clout that only a superstar can provide. The silence is over, but the questions are only just beginning. Was this a genuine bridge between cultures, or was it a high-stakes collision where nobody truly knew the directions? So, what are we left with? A historic crossover, or a cautionary tale of what happens when branding takes precedence over belief? We've looked at the hidden history, the super bass irony, and the double block gesture that Nicki Minaj couldn't hide even if she tried. The internet is still debating whether this was a stroke of genius by Turning Point USA to reach a new audience, or a moment where the movement lost its compass. But the most important take isn't mine. It's yours. Did you see a genuine connection between these two women? Or did the body language reveal a tension that words couldn't cover up? And what does this mean for the future of role models in the conservative world? I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Do you think Nicki's slip-up was just a harmless slang mistake? Or was it a Freudian slip that revealed how uncomfortable she really felt? If you found this deep dive breakdown insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We go beyond the headlines to find the truth in the details. Share this video with someone who's still confused about that interview, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.